Between the Oakland Raiders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl 37.
They couldn't catch another shit. Cannons like the loaded, so it's time to flip the script. Cruising through the bay on that Buccaneer battleship, sold up, screaming out, so buck what you heard. So buck what you heard. So buck what you heard. So buck what you heard.
All right, welcome back to Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. You follow me, I will follow you back. And today is Freestyle Thursday. Don't have a whole lot going on right now. Probably go around the league. And one thing that I did want to do is if you'll notice the numbers there, I feel like I've been neglecting the listeners. I really want to get you guys involved. So you guys want to, you can definitely call in with your opinion on whatever subject that we're talking about, but I do want to kind of get you guys involved. We'll definitely do a whole lot more of that as we go through the off season and into the regular season too. I really want to get you guys involved. MK, what's going on? Bud Cannibalist, as always, what's going on, fellas? And I am joined by my esteemed colleague, J Lo. How you doing, my brother?
Good, my man. Good. How you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. So what's new, man? I mean, right now, man, all we're playing the waiting game. For you, what's exciting for you right now, this week with the NFL?
Well, right now, I'm a little disappointed. We had to wait another week for the schedule release. I was really hoping it would have came out this week, today. So in the meantime, I just pretty much watched a bunch of other pods and stuff and kind of listen out for other, butt news and stuff like that. We got the rookies reporting today. They'll be having rookie mini camp, so that'll probably keep me occupied till Wednesday. Looking forward to see some of these guys in the red pewter. I know some of the other guys, some of the vets, they actually did voluntary, workouts together, which is really incredible because I don't think I've ever seen that in a long time. When you see the team, when you see the players come together like Baker Mayfield, Jordan Whitehead, getting his feet back in the heat again. So to me, that's pretty exciting, when it comes to looking at some of these vets get together and try to work together as a team.
Yeah, the doll is in the house. We had so much fun last week having you on. And again, she's now a friend of the show. She's always welcome on whenever. And who knows, she may surprise us and just show up one day if she's not at my least favorite place in the world, the gym, which I'm working my way back there, working on my relationship with the gym. Eventually it's going to happen. We'll see. But again, let's see. Bud, MK is in the house. And the rookies just started. The rookies showed up
today.
So it was today. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the rookies and what they've got going on?
I think most of them got, are getting excited, to get in the building, get to know each other because they're the new guys in the building. Graham Barton is just a huge dude. I mean, just seeing him get out the bus, going to the building. That dude's massive. I can't wait to watch him in the middle, man. He's gonna be a bit different. No respect to Robert Hainsey. He did his thing. But now you got Barton up there in the middle, which is gonna be a huge difference, I feel like. Plus, of course, Bucky Irving, he's been like the big talk right now around the league, around, the Bucs community, how excited they are for him to be the 1-2 punch with Rashad White. Braswell's been kind of quiet. I didn't really see him in the video well, but for the most part, I mean, it's exciting, when you go into a new environment, getting to know your new teammates, because you're all the new guys in the building. I feel that's a bonus, just can't wait to get them all together on training camp. That's where the fun part starts.
Yeah, definitely. 813-995-7476. And yeah, I'm a little stuttery right there because I don't call myself very often, but always welcome to call in and give your opinion. Definitely be looking forward to that. Somebody will call in tonight. We'll see. But I really wanted to kind of start the show off. Jason Light And I've noticed Levante David's been on big platforms, and I'm really happy to see this. It's long overdue. These are people that have consistently improved their craft and gotten better, and now they're getting a little bit of recognition. And again, I mean, if you look at those two bodies of work and the two people that I mentioned, Levante David and Jason Light, they've really, from where they started to where they are now, is just light years. It just is such a difference maker. What did you take away from that?
I think I agree with you. It was long overdue. I'm glad Levante David, especially, going on a couple pods, talking about football, talk about how hard it was for him to make a decision to come back. When you're playing at a high level, it's hard to really walk away from it. He talked about his time with Tom Brady, how it became so surreal when he got brought in. He didn't think it was possible. And the next minute, he gets a call from Jason Light, says it's a real thing. I mean, it's just great to see him on there. And then Jason Light, we can never stop talking about him. To me, he's the best GM we've ever had in Buck history. I'll say that right now. To me, he's an elite GM. And plus, he has good relations with the players. And that's, to me, is important, to have great relations with your players. When you have that, it can go a long way when it comes to contract negotiations, how long, if you really want to be here, if you want to play for this organization. And for the most part, he was talking about Anton Winfield Jr. Now I'm messing up. Sorry. but he was talking about him today, saying that, he's very positive on the contract negotiation and he feels like they'll get a deal done soon. And one thing about it, we don't have divas on our team. And that's where you gotta give Light his credit. He don't bring divas at all unless Tom Brady demanded it, like Antonio Brown. That's a whole nother story.
The quitter. We call him the quitter on this show. You don't even need to mention his name. He's the quitter.
Exactly, the quitter. But yeah, for the most part, I'm happy for both of them. Between Levante David, especially more because he's getting recognized more by other outside of Tampa. Because before Brady came, he wasn't talked about much, and now after Brady retired, move on to Baker. Now he's kind of more in the picture now, being talked about, well respected.
Yeah. And my man, to me, what I consider one of the best journalists in the Tampa Bay area is Joshua Cole Allen. I mean, here's another guy. You look at his body of work from where he started to where he's at right now. Incredible body of work and just continuous improvement. And the one thing that I can say about him is he does well with the fans. And I think in this day and age with journalism, you have to have some degree of rapport with the people that you are trying to get your subject out to. So, man, nothing but great things to say about Joshua Cole Allen as a journalist. As a person, he's a bum. But outside of that, I mean, he's somebody that he'll take time to talk to you, and he'll answer your questions, and he's really great to engage with. Just as long as it's football or wrestling, anything else, don't waste your time.
No. Shout out to J.C. Allen. He's been crushing it for the long haul. He's been killing it everywhere he's been.
Right.
For a Boston fan, I want to let that slide. Whatever. Yep. Yeah. Ask him how he feels about his Bruins last night getting crushed. But anyway, no, J.C. Allen's a great dude. I had the pleasure of meeting him twice. Good dude. Can't wait to hang out with him more whenever I get a chance to see him. So shout out to J.C. Allen.
Yeah, definitely. And the one thing that I really appreciate, about that interview is that they recognize. I think you have, Pat McAfee's somebody I respect. The guy. I know a lot of people are like on the fence with him. I've always loved the guy. I think he's great, too. And I like his show. He's very engaging. He's another person. He's another guy. He's like a man of the people. I mean, he's not some snobby clown that blocks people all the time. He's actually a guy that, you can have a conversation with him. You can engage with him. So really great guy, a great show, amazing content.
Oh yeah. Plus Power Parlay, shout out, man. He's, he did a great pod the other day with Culp, one of our new rookie tight ends we drafted. And I watched the whole thing yesterday. I got to watch it. It was a good show. Great show.
Yeah. We will not tolerate slander of any sort for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But yeah, I know what you mean. Charles, what's going on, man? Long time. Um, you know, we kind of touched on it last week, with some of the rookies and who are we really excited about seeing. And you know, it's going to be interesting to see who picks it up and who picks up the system faster, or how it all works out. Not everybody's going to be a home run as a draft pick. And I'm really curious, when you include the undrafted free agents for you. I know we had our Christian Izzy in last year. For you, is there somebody out there that nobody saw coming, and you're saying, okay, watch for this guy. This guy is going to be the guy that everybody's going to be talking about in the regular season, and he's going to take it to the next level?
I gotta say that middle linebacker from Florida State, the undrafted one, he's been the most talked about. I've been hearing lately from a few fans saying that he's got.
Is it because they're fans of the college?
Part of it.
See, this is let me say this, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I don't know. Florida State fans are more delusional than Florida fans. I don't have any skin in the game. I'm a Jayhawk, by the way. Just FYI. But when I look at this, I had to take it with a grain of salt. People are like, oh man, he should have drafted this guy or this guy or this guy. And, it's like, are you saying this because you're a fan of the school they went to? Or are you saying this because, okay, I watched him, he went to Miami, or he went to Florida State, and I just know this guy's going to be amazing? Or is this something you've seen talent-wise from him that you feel will translate to the NFL?
Part of me feels that there's a lot of fan base, Florida State fans. For one thing, I'll agree on that. But to me, I got to watch some of his tape, some of his highlight, and he looked pretty solid. I think he'll be a special teams guy. Like, he'll make the roster as a special teamer and maybe work his way up. I feel he might be a great contributor. Also, I like Judge Culpepper, Brad Culpepper's boy.
Oh, really?
Just the fact his name's Judge. I mean, to me, it's a badass name. So for one thing. But he's another one I'm really looking into. I think he might have a good shot at making that final spot.
Yeah, most definitely. Christopher Cole, what's going on, man? So when I again, and I kind of have to go back to and this is one of the years that I really did not like get like super engaged in the draft picks, because longtime listeners know I am horrible at draft picks. So I leave it to the experts and just sit back and enjoy the fruits of the labor. So I'm really looking forward to this. One of the questions that I do have for you, and I want to kind of get your thoughts. I don't really feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers truly addressed the edge rusher position. With the departure of Shaq Barrett going to Miami. Shout out to Dolphin and her crew over there. He's made a home in South Beach, and I'm sure he's having a good time. But for us here with the Bucks, free agency was more around signing our own and then picking up some players here and there. I'm still, and if you've noticed, if you've heard me, I've not really said a whole lot about Randy Gregory, because I don't know if this Randy Gregory will be able to come in and contribute. Like when Shaq came in, our defensive line automatically just went to the next level. So for you, when you're looking at this defensive line, especially along the edges, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? How comfortable are you with the product that the Bucks have going into the season?
Honestly, I feel we improved a little bit. I feel pressure-wise, maybe not sack-wise, but pressure-wise. Like, for example, Shaq Barrett, shout out to him. Good luck in Miami. I love what he did here. He's a great human being. God bless him. I wish him nothing but the best, and hopefully he does really well in Miami. Yeah. On that note, Adding Randy Gregory, to me, he's not going to be a double-digit sack guy. I feel like he's going to be a guy that's going to add pressure, bring a veteran presence to the young group we have. Because you can never have enough depth because players get injured, it happens. But I feel like if we would have got one of those top edge rushers in the first round, it would have fell to us. I would feel like we're definitely hitting a 10 because all three of those guys were home run pits.
Mhm.
But Braswell, I feel, will be like a Yaya Diaby. He'll be like a role player at
Mhm.
first, working his way up, and then eventually become the starter with Yaya Diaby on the other side. And plus, you got Anthony Nelson, who didn't really play as well as he did in 22. But I feel, him knowing the playbook, and Bowles has a lot of confidence in him. And then George Edwards, I think he's thrilled what he's got in the linebacker group as far as, continuity with Randy Gregory. I think he brought the best out of Randy in his career. So that's the way I look at it when it comes to that. But I feel like pressure-wise, we'll be able to create more pressure again to the quarterback because that's what killed us last year, playing the zone and had to blitz one of our guys and not be able to get to the quarterback, and that's where we got picked apart. So on that note, I feel we're definitely maybe a 7 from scale 1 to 10.
For me, I like the emergence of Kalijah Cansey. I love him and Vita Vea, and we've seen Vita Vea, the slim down version of Vita Vea, and again, I'm energized. I'm excited. I always pick like 2 or 3 players going into the season that I watch, and I'm like, I'm anticipating this guy to go from here to here. And one of those guys, and I'll get to the linebacker position, but to get back to answering the question along that line, I would say with Kalijah Cansey, with Vita Vea, I feel like whoever's on the edges, they have to just do their job and and I feel like they can get pressure on the quarterback. You got 2 guys that are just like that will wreck shop in the middle. And I'm 100% convinced of that. Just seeing the little sample size of what we saw with Kalijah Cansey due to that injury that he had, and I'm shout out to the Bucks and how they protected him and brought him back slowly to where he could have a very productive back end of the season. So again, I'm super excited for that. Somebody mentioned Bud mentioned JTS. Here's a guy that this is his last year. This is the year where he's got to either you do or you don't, and he's got competition. So we'll see how he plays out. I've been very disappointed. I saw his tape. I thought that he was going to be a guy that could come in and, if anything, help out and at least be somewhat of a rotational player. But along that line, I'm like you. I'm gonna I'm gonna go with a 7 as well. And you're not going to be disappointed, I don't think, with what they can do. And the key here is they're healthy. That's
Yes.
going to be the most important part of it. I know with the NFL there will be injuries. 17 games, somebody's going to get hurt, and the next question is, who else in the rotation is going to step up and fill that void until you can get your guys back, or whatever the case may be. So that's on the defensive side of the ball, that's one of my concerns. I think the other one was probably be linebacker. And I you can take what I said um about Devin White, and I meant it. When the guy is on, he's on. But the fact that he can't be consistent is something that you have to factor in as well, because the best ability is availability. And if you're available all the time and you're out there balling out like you're supposed to, doing your job, then you are an asset to the team. But if you're not able to do that on a consistent basis, then you become a liability. And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Devin White, he was a player that just did not belong on the team no more. He was a player that got in his own way, made his big mistakes, and now he's playing on a 1-year prove-it deal, which I don't think he's gonna ever play at the best of his ability. He's too much in his head. I mean, you even heard Levante David put it out there that the one person that can't be roasted is him because he gets in
Yeah.
his feelings.
Right.
So he just overwhelmed his welcome here. He showed flashes.
Like you were saying, man, I just felt like, why not go out and play? Stop talking and prove what you can do. That's all you have to. That's all you have to do. You consistently go out there, ball out, and you're leaving no doubt in anybody's mind that you deserve this max contract. But if you're talking, if you're going on Instagram and removing the team or whatever little petty things that you do that tend to be, regardless of what people say, somewhat of a disruption, instead of having everything focused on winning these games and getting better. That's how you get your money right there. But for him, cheering for the Eagles and stuff like that, I was like, okay, cool, that's what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just not the way. And I feel like he really didn't accomplish anything by doing that.
We could have traded him for a third or fourth round pick. I would have gave him up for it easily.
100%.
Honestly, at that point, we could have got some last year for him. But instead, we wrote it out, gave him an opportunity to redeem himself. But in the words of Jerry Maguire, if you ever seen that movie from Tom Cruise, when he got on Rod Tidwell's ass and telling him, shut up and play the game. That's my advice to anybody with a Devin White attitude. You want to get paid, you want to get the bag, but you need to go out there and prove it. I don't care about the whole injury thing, because injuries happen. It's football.
Exactly.
And that's why that's why he did not belong on the team. Like I said, we have no divas anymore. We let the last diva out of the room. Thank you for what you did in the Super Bowl. Thank you for that run. That was part of the best moments we saw of you in 2020.
Consistently too. It was on a somewhat consistent basis. It was probably that run was the most consistent we saw him. I'm wondering, would you say that he peaked? I mean, as a Buccaneer, he peaked in 2020.
Yes, I feel like he did. And I thought good things were coming after that. I thought he was going to become the actual leader, like a Derek Brooks type that's going to lead your troops and get your guys ready to play every Sunday. But then you won a championship early, you got cocky, you got confident, and you showed your true colors. And
started reading the press clippings and
listen to the wrong people. Listen to a guy like Antonio Brown advising him, telling him, go get the bank, man, go make your money. The quitter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's get in his head, and you can't have that. And then when you hear a guy like Ray Lewis praising him as one of the top linebackers in the league, I'm like, Ray, I respect you as a player, but for you to go and say some nonsense like that, like you're not really watching him. The local Bucs fans are the only ones that really know Devin White, and the Philadelphia fans are
they'll figure it out.
Oh yeah, they're gonna figure him out real quick, and they're gonna turn on him and get in his feelings again, to where he probably might retire in the middle of the season. He might retire at the first quarter. Who knows?
Exactly.
The man's so sensitive.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I wish him the best, but at the same time, you just don't belong here in this locker room anymore. You're gone. See ya. Bye, Felicia.
There you go. And Christopher Cole brought up a great point here in talking about my man 56,000 watts. Here's a guy that was injured, and it's funny about the NFL. When somebody's out of sight, they're out of mind. And I remember Watts in the preseason, and it's like, man, this guy's going to be incredible. And then, you have injuries and you forget about him. And Savassier Dennis, another guy, and you're just not thinking of him because you really haven't gotten to see enough of him to where you're like, oh, okay, we know what this guy's going to do or what he brings to this defense. So, Christopher Cole, thank you for that. That's a great point.
Yes.
And again, that's what we need to see, stuff like that.
So, and Watts, believe it or not, on third down had the most pressures on the quarterback. He was at the third down, edge rusher toward the end of the season. He actually got some playing time until some of our guys came back.
Right.
So that's another name to look out for. Which is why I want to throw out there, someone's going to be on the chopping block. Either it could be a veteran Anthony Nelson to clear cap space. It could be a Trey Jones, Yanka. I mentioned that before in one of the pods we did together. You never know.
Do you think there's a possibility that the Bucs can move on from him if there's, let's say there's somebody that just like balls out of their mind and they get out there and they're doing their thing, and then there's an opportunity to get that guy as a starter. Do you move on from a JTS? I know they didn't sign the 50-year option, so is that an option out there for him?
I mean, if you get a guy like Watts,
Mm.
or if Braswell really balls out a lot sooner than expected, he could be the odd man out because you're already paying Nelson what, $7 million? You
Yeah.
pay him $7 million to ride the bench most of the time for GTS to go in there. And back to GTS, I know some fans are hating on him. I'm disappointed, for the most part. But if you go back on the positive of JTS, because there is some value in him. If you watch the plays where he had those missed tackles, but he was there, he just got to finish. If
Right.
he finishes, then I think it would turn some heads to where he could be worth keeping for the long haul. But to me, I feel like you could probably get a 5th or a 6th rounder for him if you were to trade him right around, after the 3rd preseason game.
Yeah.
Because eventually someone's going to get cut or traded. Because
Mhm.
Watts, I feel like, is valuable. I feel like he could be – they made that final roster spot to help out with the pass rush, I feel like. And you got Jose Ramirez, another guy we forgot to talk about. He was hurt last year. He could be another guy too. I mean, it's going to be an interesting training camp. And like you said, competition. And competition to me brings out the best in certain players because they need that push.
So with that being said, as a general manager and a coach, and I'm just asking the question here, did Todd Bowles and Jason Light get together and say, you know what? I like the linebacker room we've got right now. I think there are other opportunities out there within the draft and free agency, and we're going to address those. But I think we're good when you have a leader like a Levante David, in that linebacker room. And these guys have, and when Devin White was sat down, those guys played sound football. There wasn't anything like on highlight reels or anything like that, but those guys played sound football. They weren't liabilities. They handled their assignments and they did what they needed to do. And it didn't matter who was in or who wasn't in, but it seems like everybody that came in to replace Devin White, they did their thing.
Yes. If we didn't have Levante David, I'd be very worried. Very, very worried. But I think with Levante David being back and leading the group, I feel comfortable with a KJ Britt, Savasi Dennis, and also JJ Russell. You can't forget about him.
Yeah. And again, another name that we keep. There's so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it kind of adds to what I was saying. Is there enough talent in that linebacker room to where you're not really having to worry about it and you can focus on other things?
To me, role players, Gene. Role players. Think about it, if you go back to the 2002 Super Bowl season, Sharon Quarles, to most people wasn't, an all-pro level linebacker. He was a key role player to the defense.
Right.
And to me, comparison, I feel like KJ Britt is a Sharon Quarles. Worked his way up the roster, and now he's going to be like a legit starter who will contribute. Maybe not put up all-pro numbers, maybe not make Pro Bowls, but he's going to do his job and just play his assignment the way he's supposed to help, get us off the field on 3rd downs and not keep the drive going. That's what I feel like KJ Britt as a role player.
And I really feel like there are times where fans are so unrealistic. You don't need everybody on the team to be a superstar. Let's be honest here. You just need guys that are competent. They can go out and do their job. It's nice when you have players like Vita Vea, when you have players like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, even now with the emergence of Baker Mayfield, and Antoine Winfield Jr. But everybody on the team does not have to be a superstar. They just have to not be a liability. And I think that's what makes for a consistent defense. And to me, I would rather have a consistent defense rather than having a room full of superstars. I think it kind of defeats the purpose. And at least you know what to expect. Like, I mean, you talked about the Super Bowl run and that Super Bowl winning team, and when they were building it up, that's how that defense was. They, if there were anything else, they were consistent. They consistently went out and did what they had to do, and they took care of business. And I would rather see that than have a guy that flashes here or he makes this big play here, and then he gets burnt by a tight end, or he gets ran over by a running back or something to that effect. And I would rather have that consistency, that even playing, rather than some of the things that we've seen.
Exactly, and and you don't need star players. I mean, to me, if you get the right players in there that want to contribute and help the defense, like finally we got our second man safety and Jordan Whitehead, who knows
Yeah,
the system. You brought him back. Now you got your two ballers at safety that are going to know how to communicate with each other. Because I feel like Jordan Whitehead improved when he left to go to the Jets. Not that he was declining when he was here. It's just we can't resign.
I don't think he could stay healthy. I think that was the knock right there, is that he wasn't available all the time.
I mean, he can have some injury spells, but when he played, man, he helped us out a lot, especially that NFC Championship game, forcing that fumble, which gave us the ultimate lead. Oh yeah, no, you're wrong. But but hey, it's better than having a Ryan Neal. I'll take an injury bug, Jordan Whitehead over a Ryan Neal all day. So we can just put that to rest with Ryan Neal. I
Yeah,
mean, the poor guy doesn't have a job right now. He's out there looking still. God bless him.
yeah. So there's not a whole lot you can really do about that.
No.
So, we talked a little bit about the secondary, and in past seasons, the secondary has been a point of contention. And this year, with Carlton Davis going on to Detroit, and I wish him well there, and just leave it at that. What are your thoughts on somebody like a Carlton Davis?
Yeah, I mean, to me,
With the
honestly,
loss, I'm sorry, the loss of a Carlton Davis.
I would have gave up Dean before Carlton. Honestly, as mean as that sounds, I think Dean is, he when he's healthy, he can make plays, but he's got stone hands. There's times where he gets beat bad down the field, but at least Carlton to me was a good shutdown corner when he was healthy. But either way, those two guys got paid and they're injury prone. But I would have wished we would have kept Carlton instead of Dean. But I get it because of the cap and he had to create space. I get it. But if you look at the depth we added, you got a Bryce Hall, who I
Hmm.
think has a good shot to push Zal McCollum for the other side of the corner, or not, he'd be ready to go in once Dean got hurt. God forbid. Hopefully he stays
Yeah.
healthy. Um, and then you added Tavares Thomas from Houston, who
Houston.
started nickel last season for them. A little injury prone, but you have more depth. And then
Right.
now you got Izzy who is probably going to be a role player mode now between nickel and safety because they're going to cross train him, which will be helpful in case Jordan Whitehead goes down. Then he'll be ready to step in. Because Tyke Smith from Georgia, I already think he's a plug-in starter right there in nickel, and he can play safety as well. They're going to cross train him, I believe, at free safety as well. So that way, in case he goes down, then he just goes on in. I think this is probably the most depth corner and safeties we have had in a long time. To
Yeah.
where if somebody goes down, then they'll be ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't even talked about Christian Izien. I mean, there's another player that I feel like will contribute to this team as well. Um, when I talk about the players that I like to watch, this year, going into this year, Kalijah Cansey, Vita Vea, and Christian Izien are the three players on this team. I'll be looking forward to seeing what they do, or how they improve. And I don't know about you, if there are like players that you like key in on, and those are the guys that you watch for.
I mean, I just feel that we're just fully depth. I mean, to me, if Dean can stay healthy and just catch the damn ball when the ball's thrown to him, I feel like it's going to be a game changing thing. Because when you get a turnover, then you take away their momentum to build our momentum
And you get
on
them off the
offense.
field.
Exactly. Just think about it. In the Detroit game, if Dean would have got that interception, that's 3 points off the board.
Yeah.
That would brought us a lot closer in the game. So that's the only thing about Dean. He just got to stay healthy. If he's healthy and he makes the interceptions, I think we'll be A-okay with that. And then Zion, he's an interesting cat. He stepped in at the right time when we need him to, and he played pretty well, in my opinion. Not all pro, but he played well. To where he got moved to safety in the wild card playoff game, which was interesting to me. He played a little bit of safety to kind of create, differences, to confuse the offense against the Eagles. So I say on defense, the guy to really watch out for, in my opinion, would be Vita Vea on how slim he got. Because that dude was a fucking soldier, dude. He was battling injuries all season long. He missed a couple games, which hurt us, If you want to say weak point, that's our biggest weak point to me is our D-line. If a Vita Vea goes down, God forbid, or Kalijah Kancey, then that's going to change a lot of things on the D-line. That's probably the only thing I wish the Bucs would have addressed in the draft was get a big man to play behind Vita Vea, because Greg Gaines, to me, he's a hit or miss. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. Sometimes he looks decent. Sometimes he doesn't look good. And Golston, I love my guy William Golston, Big Will. But, at the same time, he can't be on the field the whole entire game.
I know what you mean.
To me, he's a run stuffer. And then Logan Hall, in honor of Dr. Pless from World Bucks Talk, his favorite player.
Dude, I've just been so disappointed in that guy. And I've watched him, and it's funny to watch him happen into sacks or happen into tackles. It's not like he goes out there and gets a tackle. It's just like, oh man, here's a tackle right in front of me. So just another guy that, again, I hope they improve. I don't wish bad on any player that's, coming in here. I just want to see them, improve. Shout out to my man Tones. Tones is on his way to St. Louis for UFC. Have fun with that. Cleve and me is in here. Checking out.
Even me.
Thank you so much for checking us out.
Sure.
And again, Gator Enforcer, thank you so much for coming in and jumping in the chat. You're greatly appreciated. Huncho's in here. I don't know if Huncho's still here or not, but yeah, it's just, this is a freestyle Thursday. We're not really going in any direction. We're just kind of chopping it up, talking football. And you know what, man, just to kind of get off the subject, ever since you sent me that video on Instagram, I'm just dying. I'm dying to try that. The
nachos?
Yeah, the nachos, man. That looked incredible. I don't know. Have you tried that yet?
Not yet, but it's in the process for sure. Like I said, I'm like you. I definitely want to try that. Cause I'm a big, air fryer guy. I feel it's a game changer. You can make all kinds of things in it.
Bro, I got a new air fryer, man. It's like the best air fryer I've ever had. So my old one went out. RIP. And it's crazy when you don't have it, and it just like cuts down what you're limited to cook on the fly in in their freezer. So now that I've got this, man, I've just been going crazy, man, just grabbing air fryer recipes and whatever I can get, man. I've just been on it. Elgato 813, what's going on?
Baby brother, my brother.
All right. Well, thank you for checking us out.
He's a big Bucks fan, Gene. Don't let him fool you. Like I said, he's a big Bucks fan. Every game I've been to with him, like I said, he was at the wild card game with me, and
it got wild, huh?
Oh yeah, nah, he's cool people, Gene. Whenever you come down, you gotta meet him.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. We're firing up the grill, bro. Definitely.
Hell yeah, barbecue. I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, just like different recipes, man. Like me, preseason for me is where I'm pre-seasoning different dishes and stuff like that. I'm trying different variations of food, and because that's the fun of it, man. When you get up and you're hyped up, your boys are getting ready to go out there and play, and you got to put something together, man. So me and Jay Mullet, we normally slam a beer every Sunday, and this is a true story. Bucks were like winning. The Bucks were winning every game, where we would just get up first thing in the morning, slam a beer. I'd send him a video. He'd send me a video. And then the Bucks got in this win streak, and we got away from it. That's when the Bucks had that long ass losing streak where we'd stopped doing it. And so we got back on it, man, and they won a few games here and there, but it wasn't the same. But yeah, man, it's just part of my routine, when the Bucks are getting ready to play.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta have food during the game because eventually, if they're playing bad, to me that's like the best medicine. Is having some snacks, some wings you put together. I gotta get shout out to Jay Mullet. That man puts out some good dishes. Once in a while, he'll go in the little group chat we're in. He shows what he made. He motivates me to go buy a better grill. Like I got a grill, I got a gas grill, which good, but I'm telling you,
it's all about the charcoal, baby.
Oh yeah, no, charcoal. The thing with charcoal, I'm still learning. To get it lit and all that. I know it's simple for most people, but to me, gas. I'm in a hurry. Just want to get it cooked. Knock it out. Especially when you gotta feed the kids, man. Kids love to eat. They don't like to wait.
Exactly. So, Bud Cannibalist, you have to tell me more about these Hawaiian tacos. Never had them before.
Whoa,
that sounds good.
that
There's
does.
got to be some pineapple in it. I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing here. There's got to be some pineapple in that.
Yeah, most likely. Anything Hawaiian, you gotta have pineapple in it.
Yeah.
I've been to Hawaii when I was really young. I wish I would have went at my age now. Beautiful place, and yeah, when it comes to Hawaiian food, anything Hawaiians gotta have pineapple. That's all I gotta say about that.
It's funny. I have never had the desire to go to Hawaii. We go to the Caribbean so much, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Trinidad, Jamaica, Bahamas, and there's so much beauty there. And my nephew, he just got married last year and moved to Hawaii, and he was telling me about the prices, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I could. I mean, it's a beautiful island. I've seen pictures. These pictures don't really do it justice, but I don't know, man. I'm still more of a guy that I would rather go to the Caribbean, to be honest.
You'll save more money going to the other locations you were talking about.
Mm.
Hawaii to me is a one-time experience thing.
Mm.
That's why I never will go back because pricing can be crazy.
Oh, it is crazy.
So I'd rather go somewhere like a Puerto Rico or go to the Bahamas. It's on my bucket list. I've been to Mexico a couple times on a cruise.
Oh, bro, I love Mexico. We went to Jalisco, and
nice.
we actually went to Tequila. And my wife works for the hospital, Phoenix Children's, and we took some medical equipment to the hospital in Guadalajara Hospital. And so all the surgeons, we all got together, man, and they're like, what do you want to do? And I was like, man, I want to go to Tequila. So we went to Tequila, Mexico, man, and I'm telling you what, it was hot. And I was drinking, and man, yeah, it's different. I wasn't like hungover. I don't know what it is about the tequila over there, but like one of my favorite tequilas is Fortaleza, and that's like my mainstay right there. That's what I love to drink, whether it's Blanco, Añejo, Reposado, any of those, I'll get down. And it just kind of changed my thinking about what they do, because like that, I mean, Fortaleza is the last handmade tequila in Mexico. Everything else is automated. So that's what makes it so expensive and so special and so hard to get. But yeah, I had a great time. I love Mexico. I mean, if I'm just staying, we're talking just locally, man, if I could go back. And what was funny is we were there when Canelo Alvarez got married, and our hotel was catty corner from the church where he got married at.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're seeing all these people. All these people are just like showing up. It was wild, man. And that's my experience. My that one in going to Mexico City. I love Mexico City. I went to Mexico City in college. I had a blast. And outside of that, I've just not had the opportunity to go back,
I've been to Cozumel a couple times on a cruise. The first one was a bachelor party, which was a fun time. I gotta say, especially going during spring break week during going to senior frauds, it's pretty lit when we went. That was an awesome experience. We did Royal Caribbean, which I like. I had a good experience with them. As far as Carnival, not so much. Carnival to me
I've
was
never been on a cruise before.
oh, it's a game changer, especially if you and your wife ever want to go like on a nice little 3-day cruise. The one thing is they know how to party. You don't have to worry about driving anywhere. You just go have your fun. They got clubs. They got so many activities to do. The food's phenomenal. I think it's worth doing for a 3-day weekend thing. That's my thing. Some people like going for a week. To me, that's too long on the water. I like just going for like 3 days, then then come back, spend a day, kind of sober up, because there's gonna be a lot of drinking involved, of course. When it comes to cruising, and you meet all these random people. I remember going, and I remember it was 2015 was the last time I went, and I went to Cozumel. I was watching the Bucks and Jacksonville game on the boat. It was hard to find it, and I'm like, hey, where's the Bucks game at? Coming back home, want to catch the Bucks game, and finally I found a spot, and that was pretty cool. Watching the game, cruising, especially that they won. So that was an awesome way.
Yeah, exactly. It makes a big difference.
So go out celebrating. So yeah, it's a game changer. You and the wife definitely got to put that on your bucket list. Going on a cruise, either Mexico, the Bahamas, or if you really want to get adventurous, they got one in Alaska. Believe it or not, it's a different experience because it's cold.
I'm not a big cold weather. Like I said, I went to Kansas, man. I mean, I'm not a huge cold weather person. I almost flunked out of school because it was so freaking cold, man. If you're not built for it, you're not built for it,
But so, talking about cruises, though, the Buccaneers cruise. I remember J.C. Allen.
Dude, I'm doing that next year. I don't know how we get to it or how it all happens. But I mean, I've always been anti-cruise because I like going places. I like staying in a destination. I don't like, you got this much time to do this and you got to come back. I want to be able to do what I want to do.
And not be told what to do. I got you. That
exactly. So, but at the end of the day, man, when you think about the Bucks cruise, it looks so much fun. I'm actually friends with like 3 or 4 people that actually did it, and just seeing all the pictures, I was jealous. And
yeah, and that's just it, Gene. I mean, and especially the Buck players who are out there with the fans.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure they got a story that they're not going to share because they don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I'm pretty sure there's fun times you can have. As far as that goes, I mean, I could just see myself, buzzing and try to go take a shot with Joe Transienko. I'm like, you're a big boy, you can handle it. Here. Yeah. but anyway, yeah, the Buck cruise definitely on my bucket list. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make the next one. I'm definitely gonna, put my bingo chips and save money up for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Got to take care of the kiddos first, man, before I jump.
Yeah, very important, man. And so. Chicken. So this is like you're using jerk chicken. Ooh, dang.
Jerk chicken. I love me some jerk chicken.
Yeah.
Especially if it's cooked correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
Because one time I messed up and it didn't turn out so good. But if you cook it correctly, it's really delicious.
Yeah. Shout out to the Jerk Hut. I don't know. That used to be my spot, man.
Oh, the jerk. You said Jerk Hut or Jerk Hut?
Jerk Hut. Yeah.
Jerk Hut. Okay, I remember Jerk Hut.
Yeah.
I think it's still there, but I haven't been in a while. But yeah.
Yeah, I usually hit them up, when I'm there, and hopefully, there's a couple more parades, and I'll definitely be coming for a parade when I come to Tampa. So maybe I'll be throwing beads your way. Who knows? We'll see.
Hey, boat parade, man. Super Bowl parade, man. You might have to save your bingo chips, man.
There you go, man.
That boat parade is another level, bro. I missed it. I was so mad because I was stuck at working at the hospital, and I kept seeing everybody having a good time. And one of my doctor friends, the big Bucks fan, he came to use the public bathroom. He came to use our public bathroom. He ran into me. My boy was buzzing. He was like, bro, what are you doing here? You should be at the boat parade. He see me wearing my butt shirt. We're allowed to wear butt shirts. And I said, bro, I want to cry. I would have loved to be there. Fuck that COVID shit. But anyway, the boat.
That one experience that you just can't. Yeah. But anyway, so just kind of getting back to that, man. I mean, like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about right there. Just being able to come up with like, I'm actually going to make uh this chicken tacos, the Hawaiian tacos. I'm definitely gonna make that. That's on the list right there. I love chimichurri too. That's real good. You can when somebody makes it right. So it's just kind of hard to get that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah. I really didn't have a whole lot tonight, and it looks like people are just too busy to call in. I guess there's really not a whole lot going on, which I expected. But you know, we'll have Tones. Tones, will you be back on Saturday, or are we looking at Monday, or what do we got going on here, my friend? Just hit me in the chat or text me or let me know before we get out of here. And again, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, anybody that's listening, if you have a favorite beer, whatever it is, please let me know. And I will drop it, and I'll drop it on our list. And we'll definitely add it on the board. Again, the end of June is when we're going to have the cutoff. If your name gets picked or your beer gets picked, up in the ante here a little bit. I will make sure that I get you a Smack Apparel t-shirt. If you the trick is you got to be following me on Twitter so I can exchange your address and get that out to you. But again, please let me know. I will get that shirt out to you and make you a happy camper. And that's pretty much all I have. What about you? Any final thoughts before we bail out of here?
Yes, final thoughts. Yes, Bucks fans, we're in a little dry spell right now. There'll be more excitement coming. I believe we got OTAs coming up soon to where everybody's practicing together before training camp. In the meantime, just be on the lookout for mini camp this weekend. Just see, how the players stand out, the interviews and stuff. And we're getting closer to football, man. We're only we're about a little under 3 months away, and it's gonna come fast. I'm telling you. We're already past the draft, the free agency part, and then Bucketeer said Caribbean's the best. Love the cruise talk. Okay. Monday or Tuesday.
If you guys know me, we could be talking about anything. I mean, it could be beer, it could be liquor, it could be, wrestling. You just never know, what subject we're going to be on, when we're on here.
Just no Falcons talk. Don't bring that nonsense in here. No Falcons, no Saints, or even Davy Boy Panthers talk. That's not allowed in here.
And we do have a beer to add to the list, Blue Moon. I love Blue Moon with a little slice of orange.
I'll be about that. Blue Moon.
You know what? I've actually I've had Blue Moon as my official beer. God, it's been like maybe 6 years ago. About 6 years ago, I think. But yeah, I do this off and on, and I love doing it. I love it when people get like involved with it. And so far we've got 3 with Landshark, Wicked Weed IPA, and now we've got Blue Moon.
The Wicked Weed one catches my attention.
Yeah, I know that my liquor store has it. I'm going to try to jump on that.
I'm pretty sure we have it down here in Tampa for sure.
Yeah,
I think Pless was the one that brought that up.
Yep, Pless brought up that, and then all right, yep. And your name is going by your pick, and I appreciate you guys. Bud Cannibalist, sign Winfield.
So it's gonna happen. Patience is key. Here's the most important thing about cannabis: that Antoine Winfield Jr. is a positive man. He's not disrespecting the buds. He's not unfollowing. He's not pulling any Devo BS. And if you watch the interview with Jason Light on the Pat McAfee show, he said they're moving in a positive direction as far as Antoine Winfield Jr. goes on the contract negotiations. I feel he will get a contract stitching around training camp, the latest, and same thing with Tristan Wirfs. And here's the thing: you gotta love these guys because they're in the building, working out, practicing. Because Tristan was greeting Graham Barton, those are the kind of guys you want to pay the big money to. Those are the guys you want to pay, and it's gonna come.
Yeah.
You got to trust the process. It will come.
This is your foundation right here. And it looks like Greg Allman just tweeted this out. Tulane kicker Valentino Ambrosio, Incarnate World wide receiver Caleb Chapman, East Carolina linebacker BJ Davis, Kentucky running back Raymond Jefferson, UCF offensive lineman Lakoi Paoli, Lafayette linebacker Billy Schaefer, and Texas State offensive lineman Bray Walker. Cool thing about this, you've got some real small school players out there, and these are the little gems that Jason Light is always finding, especially on that offensive line. Those small school offensive linemen have really paid off dividends for this team, and they've been instant successes for the most part. And there are some that have taken a little bit of time to get to where they need to get to, but it's good to see that the roster's fluid, and that's something that I've kind of taken that away from Real Bucks Talk, and I say it every year. The roster is fluid right up until kickoff, and even a little bit after kickoff. You just don't know. But I will say this, that you can't lock in this roster and say these are the guys we're going to have, because something's going to change. Somebody's going to step in, and they're going to step their game up, and it's going to force change. It always happens.
And also, I'm excited with the coaching staff we got lined up, coaching these kids, getting them ready to play football. That's another thing I like about Todd Bowles. He's pretty good at developing some of these young.
He's a teacher. He's not so much a coach, but a teacher, where you have that philosophy as well.
Yes, a teacher of the game. And I'm excited with the new staff we got. I'm excited with what Liam Cohen's put together on the offensive staff. Watching all their press conferences, they look very fluid. I think they're going to do a great job. I love the guy from Georgia, our receivers coach. I feel he's going to bring a lot of noise in that receiver room. I like Carberry, the lineman's coach. I think he's going to do wonders, getting that offensive line ready, getting it prepared to protect Baker Mayfield. And even the tight ends coach, Peel, because Van Dam pretty much is in a different position now.
Mm-hmm.
But even Peel, I feel like, will get this young tight end room ready for not only the battle, but for competition and training camp, because the dude Culp, the dude's athletic. He ran a 4.5 in the 40. That's what you want on your roster. You want a tight end and go out there and make plays. Blocking, we'll see what happens. I heard he's decent from what I think Mike Pless said from Real Bucks Talk, that he's a decent blocker, so I'll take it. But
I do have a question for you, and I hear people, and I have for years, drop the 40 time as a positive attribute for a player, and then you look at like defense. Let's take defensive linemen, for instance. I think the only time you would possibly see a defensive lineman where that 40 time would come into play is if there was a busted play and they're running down or running back or something to that effect. Now, I guess my next question would be, should there be different sets of metrics for each position instead of grouping everybody in with the same metrics? What are your thoughts on that?
I think a little change wouldn't hurt. I think, doing that, what you're saying about the metrics part, I feel like that would probably make it more interesting on the player itself. Because you may get a player that runs like a poor 40, but then when you look at the other drills he does, he kills it. He crushes it.
And I'm going to give you a good example, and people may not like my example, but Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston ran a 5-something, and they roasted this dude for his 40 time. But there were times where Jameis Winston would tuck the ball down and run when he wasn't fumbling it, but he was able to extend plays. He was able to move the chain. He was a football player, despite what people consider the handicap of his 40 time. And you know, he can move the chains. You're moving the chains 10 yards. So again, that's one of the things that makes me wonder, do we need to rethink how we're measuring these different positions? Because you can't put like a wide receiver, I understand a 40 time. Running back, I can somewhat understand a 40 time, especially if you can get loose and you're running down the field and you know you have the ability to take it to the house. I can understand that. But when it comes to like offensive linemen, who knows, maybe a linebacker, defensive tackle, does this 40 time really hinder a player just just based on that?
Certain positions, yes. Like to me, when it comes to a
If you had to
lineman,
break down your one through three positions for 40, what would they be?
so to me, 40 when it comes to beneficial for positions,
Mhm,
I say it's receiver, receiver for sure. That's one. Second would be running back,
mhm.
and to me, third would probably be corner or safety,
There you
because
go. And I didn't even think about that.
corner safety, especially at safety, if you get beat downfield, you got to recover your speed to try to catch up and get to the ball, or at least tackle the receiver so he doesn't get away. For example, when the Rams beat us in the divisional playoff game, Winfield got beat, but he recovered and at least got to the player and tackled him and saved the game-winning touchdown.
Mhm.
So that to me, a 40 times beneficial. But for like linebacker, it can be beneficial because how quick he can get to the runner,
Right.
like Devin White's speed. But as far as linemen, it's helpful,
Mhm.
But linemen, honestly, they're there to block. I look more at the bench reps, look at their IQ, the game, how well they can learn the playbook, on running, on zone blocking and stuff like that. That to me with linemen. D lineman, it's impressive. Like Vita Vea, I think ran like a 5 or a 4.9 for his size, which is pretty fast. He used to play running
Right.
back, which is an interesting trait. But basically, he's there to take on the double team. But then again, his agility to get to the quarterback is impressive. As far as that concerns. But as far as the 40 time, to me, it's receiver, running back, and then cornerback slash safety or DB will be the better term for that for 40.
Because you can almost combine those two, the
Mhm.
cornerback and the safety. Let's say secondary. We'll that would
Yeah,
when you say
DB
that,
secondary. There
yeah.
you go.
So that would be perfect.
Absolutely. But as far as D lineman, linebacker, I mean, to me, linebacker is more of agility. How
Mhm.
quick, can you
Yeah.
change pace and to the ball, get to the tackle when it comes to a tight end or a running. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
agility. Kind
Because
of like
you require lateral and vertical speed.
Yes, absolutely. And plus Bucky Irving, he's saying that he's not the fastest guy. He ran a 4.5. Okay, cool. But his agility, able to make people miss. You watch his
Right.
tape, that's what to me is eye catching. Is I don't care if you're running a 4.5, 4.6, but if your agility able to break tackle and make people miss, like I want to see him on the bench press. I want
Right.
to see him on the cone drill, see how quick
Mhm.
he is. That's what I look at when it comes to those type of players. I mean, it's catchy, to see Worthy from Texas breaking the 40 record, but can he break tackles? Can he stay
Right.
healthy? What's your bench press? Like, can you block? Can you
Mhm.
create blocking lanes for your running back? That's the real question.
Yeah.
That's the way
That's
I
yeah,
look
and
at it.
to me, that's like the bench press. I don't care what a wide receiver can bench press. How fast is he? So I guess they really need to put, or in my opinion, I would put more emphasis on certain metrics versus other ones that I feel like are just, it's a dog and pony show. It's not anything of value, if
Well,
that
for
makes sense.
well, for example, on the bench press, you want to put the offensive lineman, D lineman. That would be my thing for bench press. Yeah, you could put linebacker in there if you want,
Mhm.
but to me, they're the second person to go into the block. The D lineman, the O lineman, they're the first one in the trenches to go at it with each other on bench press.
Mhm.
40 times, receivers, running backs, and DB slash safety. Oh, and tight ends. Tight ends another one.
Mhm.
Tight ends to me, I look more into like the bench pressing, their cone,
Yeah.
quick out routes and stuff. Because OJ Howard, not to pick on him, he turned to be a bust to us in the first
You
round.
know, and I'm gonna say this in his defense, he passed the eye test. I always, when I say you got to check up from the neck up. I don't think he had that dog in him.
No,
You look at some tight ends, and some tight ends are fearless, like Gronk. And I'm not using Gronk's probably a bad example, but just tight ends that go out there and they're ruthless. Whether they're blocking, they're picking up a block, whether they're running a slant and they're in the middle of the field, or just whatever their assignment is. Tight ends are guys I would love to see, as Bud Cannibals made a great point. I think for certain positions, I think the drills are a lot more important than the 40, because you have to look at agility, as you mentioned, um, lateral movement as well as vertical movement as well. So to me, that's something that I would kind of look at as well.
oh, absolutely. OJ Howard, and when we drafted him, I was pretty excited for him. I know some fans wanted Dalvin Cook, who would have been great down here maybe. But
If
when
he
we
could have
drafted,
stayed healthy.
if he were to stay healthy, now he's kind of like off the rails. No one talks about him. Like, where is he at? Is he even a free agent? Is he with the Jets still? I mean, we don't know what happened to that guy. He just like disappeared, for the most part. But anyway, back to OJ Howard. I was saying was, I was happy when we made the pick. I was at the draft party, when we picked him, and I was like, okay, you got a little two tight end set with him and Cameron Brake.
Mhm.
But injuries plagued him. He went through an injury bug, unfortunately. And then, like you said,
What did he an Achilles?
well, I think there was one time he had like some kind of knee injury.
Mm.
1 year, I think that was his rookie year. He got hurt toward the end of the season, couldn't contribute, and then the Achilles injury in the 2020 season. And he was kind of balling out a little bit for Brady,
Yeah,
in that Chargers game, and then he just
but it wasn't consistent.
no torn Achilles ruined him, and he's hasn't been the same. He played in the 21 season. I think his best game was the Eagles game in Philly. He had a touchdown grab, and then he made a catch, broke a tackle. I'm like, okay, this is looking positive. But Gene, what's funny is that I work at the hospital, right? The very next day they come back, and he's already in the hospital. I mean, not as a patient, but I guess he was just getting checked out for little
Right.
things, the outpatient. But when I saw him, I was like, man, already, bro, you made plays, you already get checked out. So I approached him, this game, dudes, and I told him, hey, good game last night. So I appreciate it, and that's about it. Just kept it moving. But
Yeah.
anyway, it just really sucks because I really had high hopes for him. I really thought he was going to be a great contributor when we drafted him. Help Winston, but Winston his way out of here.
Yeah.
For the most part. At the end of the day, I feel like there were some draft picks we missed for sure. But back to OJ Howard.
And I don't know of a general manager that's hit on every single one of their draft
No.
picks. So I would not hold that against Jason. It would be more, how consistent are you with getting players that you can help build the foundation of this team? I think that to me is way more important. I mean, when you look at the Vita Vea pick, you look at Mike Evans, Chris Godwin is another one. Levante David. These are players that were picked, and they've been foundational in building this team up. And I use that word because it's the ground floor. You bring other people in, you can plug them in, and then you'll be able to make some moves. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
No, and you're absolutely right, Gene. Like I said, you're not going to nail all your picks at all. But to me, though, I feel like Light has improved over the years, making certain picks. Of course, you're not going to nail them all. But that's one shout out, But the one thing I will say is, he made his very first pick. That was his best pick, in my opinion, was Mike Evans out of all the picks he ever made.
But I think when you have a good relationship with your head coach and your staff they're able to go out and they're good talent evaluators. I think the Bucks have struggled with good talent evaluation from, I would say, 2003 to like 2013, 2014. And that's just been a problem. That's, that's over a freaking decade. So it was bad. And it's just refreshing to see that right now. But I do want to say, man, we've been talking for over an hour, and I thought we would run out of stuff to talk about, Freestyle Thursday. And again, man, I definitely I want to thank you for coming on. You're always there, always willing to jump on, man. Give yourself a round of applause. I think you're just, you're great, man, and I appreciate working with you. So thank you. And tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. I think you're a great follow, and definitely people need to, check you out, throughout this off season.
No, I appreciate that a lot, Gene. I'm just a Bucks fan that loves my team. We may agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we love our Bucks. But yes, so I changed my follow. You can follow me now at JLo, capital T Tampa 813. If you want to just come join, talk football, that's what I'm all about, man. I mean, I'm not here to judge. I respect people's opinions, whether I like it or not. And like I said, I mean, I love my crew, man. I'm so glad to have you on with Bucketeers, Gene. I learned a lot from you since you've been on the team, and plus I've watched your show in the past before you even joined. I always enjoy all the content you bring in, all the knowledge you spread to me, along with shout out to Tones, giving me a chance. Just give me a chance to talk
Yeah.
about football and share my thoughts with everybody that's watching.
Yeah, most definitely. All right. And of course, you can reach me at Buck What You Heard. You follow me, I will follow you back. And again, folks, I will be doing this again next week. We didn't get a call this week. Maybe we'll get one next week. I really would like to hear from you guys. I love the chat. I think this is great. Just getting the opportunity to have you on and get your voice heard. I think that's super important, especially in this day and age that we are currently in, where you're limited on what you can say. And I think a person's voice, getting that person's voice on here, it adds value to the show to me. So I mean, I appreciate everybody in the chat. You could be doing something else and you taking time to do this, so greatly appreciated. But anyway, we are definitely going to jump out of here. And next week it will be Tones will be back on Tuesday, and I will get the particulars on that, how that's going to work out. But yeah, we'll definitely be doing this again. Right now it's just kind of like slow right now, and there's not a whole lot to talk about, but we do find ways to fill it in. But anyway, we are going to go on ahead and get out of here. And I appreciate everybody. Everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. And remember, Buck What You Heard. Peace out.
Cruising through the bay on that Buccaneer battleship, sold up, screaming out the Buck